Poetic Edda, Chapter 1, Grímnismál.
The Sayings of Grimnir, the God in Torment. King Herdung had two sons, one called Agnar and the other Gerod. When Agnar was 10 years old and Gerod was 8, the twain set forth in a boat with their tackle in pursuit of small fish. But the wind drove them out to sea, and in the darkness of night they broke up by the shore. They got safe to land and presently came upon a cottage where they stayed throughout the winter. The old wife fostered Agnar, and her man fostered Gerod, and taught him wisdom. In the spring, the peasant got a boat for them, and when he and the woman had brought them down to the shore, he held talk apart with Gerod. And then they put forth to sea and found a fair wind, and reached their father's realm. Gerod, who was standing in the prow, sprang on shore and pushed the boat off, saying, "Go where a friend may take thee, or go where a fiend may take thee." And the vessel was driven out. Then he went up to the town where he was well received, and as his father was then dead, he was made king and became a famous man. Not starting out too auspicious for them, is it? Here we go. Page 5. Odin and Frigg were sitting once on window shelf, gazing out over all the world. Said Odin, "Seest thou Agnar, thy fosterling, how he begets children with a giantess in a cave? But Gerod, my fosterling, is a king and rules over the realm." "He is such a meat grudger," answered Frigg, "that he starves his guests when he deems that too many are come to his halls." Odin swore that this was the greatest lie, and they wagered on the matter. Frigg sent her handmaiden Fulla to Gerod to bid the king beware lest an enchanter, who had come into the land, should bewitch him, and she gave them this sign whereby he might be known. No dog, however fierce, would assail him. Men had lied greatly in saying that Gerod was not hospitable, but for all that he had caused a certain guest to be seized, whom the dogs would not attack. He came clad in a blue mantle, calling himself Grimnir, the masked one, and would tell naught besides, however much they asked him. Then the king ordered him to be tortured till he should speak, and they set him in the midst between two fires, and 8 nights he sat there. Gerod's son, who was 10 years old and named Agnar after the king's brother, went up to Grimnir and gave him a drink out of a brimming horn, saying that the king had done ill thus to torture him without cause. And Grimnir drank. At length, when the fire had waxed so nigh that his mantle burned upon him, he spake. "Fierce art thou, fire, and far too great. Flame, get thee further away. My cloak is scorched, though I hold it high. My mantle burns before me. 8 nights have I sat betwixt the fires, while no man offered me food, save only Agnar, the son of Gerod, who alone shall rule the realm. Blessed be thou, Agnar, the god of all beings shall call blessing upon thee. For one such drought thou shalt never more so fair a guerdon win. Holy is the land which lies yonder, or which yonder lies, near the world of gods and elves. In the home of strength shall the thunderer dwell, until even till the powers perish. Udale is called, the realm where Ul hath set him a hall on high, an elf home, that which the gods gave Frey as tooth-fee in the days of yore. A third home is there, whose hall is thatched with silver by blessed powers, Valashelf that she is named, which was founded in former days. The fourth is Falling Brook, there forever the chill waves are rushing over, while day by day drink Odin and Saga, glad-hearted from golden cups. The fifth is called Gladholm, and gold-bright Valhall, spacious lies in its midst, where Odin shall choose his own each day of the warriors fallen in war. 'Tis easily known by all who come to visit Odin's folk. With shafts 'tis raftered, with shields 'tis roofed, with byrnies the benches are strewn. 'Tis easily known by all who come to visit Odin's folk. There hangs a wolf for the western door, and an eagle hovers over. The sixth is Soundholm, where Thiazi bodes, that fearful Jotun of yore. Now Skadi dwells, fair bride of gods, in her father's former home. The seventh is Broadgleam, there hath Balder set him a hall on high, away in the land where I ween are found the fewest tokens of ill. The eighth is Heaven Hill, world bright Heimdall, ruler over its holy fanes. In that peaceful hall the watchman of gods, glad-hearted, the good mead quaffs. The ninth is Folkfield, Freya rules there, choice of seats in the hall. One half of the dead she chooses each day, but half the Warfather owns. The 10th is Listener, pillared with gold, and eke with silver roofed. There Forseti dwells, nigh the long day through, the judge, and soothes all strife. The 11th is Norton, Njord in that haven hath built him a hall by the sea. A prince of men, ever faultless found, he holds the high-built fanes. With brushwood grows, and with grasses high, Woodhome, Vidar's land. For his steed, that son of Odin, shall show him strong to avenge his sire. The thunder flood roars, while sports the fish and the mighty wolf therein. Overwhelming seems that flow of that stream, of the host of slain to wade. Halls 540 more hath the lightning abode in its bendings. Of all the high-roofed houses I know, highest is that of the Thunderer. Death Barrier stands, the sacred gate, out on the plain for the sacred doors. Old is the lattice, and few have learned how it is closed on the latch. Doors 540 more, I ween, may be found in Valhall, and 800 chosen pass through each one when they are fair to fight with the wolf. There sooty-faced boils and sooty flame, a boar called Sooty Black. 'Tis the best of fare, which few have heard, if the chosen warrior's food. Glorying, the battle-wont father of hosts feeds Ravener and Greed, his wolves. But on wine alone ever Odin lives, the weapon-famed god of war. Ravens, Hugin and Mugen, of thought and memory, wing the wide world each day. I tremble for thought, lest he not come home again, yet for memory more I fear. The waters of the world. Sky bright over Valhall stands the goat, who gnaws the shelterer's boughs. She fills a bowl with the shining mead, 'tis a draught which runs not dry. Oakthorn over Valhall stands the hart, who gnaws the shelter's boughs. Run drops from his horns in the roaring kettle, whence flow all floods in the world. Cormt and Ormt, and the bathtubs twain, these must the Thunderer wade, when he fares each day to his throne of doom under Yggdrasil's ash. Thence Bifrost burns the bridge of the gods, and the mighty waters well. Glad One, Goldie, Gleamer, Race Giant, Silvery Lock and Sinewy, Shiner, Pelholf, Goldlock, Lightfoot. These are the steeds which the gods ride, when they fare each day to their homes of doom under Yggdrasil's ash. There are 3 routes stretching 3 rivers diverse ways from under Yggdrasil's ash. Neath the first dwells Hell, neath the second Frost Giants, and humankind neath the third. An eagle sits in the boughs of the ash, knowing much of many things, and a hawk is perched, storm pale, aloft betwixt the eagle's eyes. Ratatosk is the squirrel with gnawing tooth, which runs in Yggdrasil's ash. He bears the eagle's words from above to the fierce stinger tells below. There are 4 hearts, too, who with heads thrown back gnaw the topmost boughs of the tree. Dane the dead one, Davlin the Dalier, Djörnir and Draenathor. More serpents lie under Yggdrasil's ash than a witless fool could ween. Goin and Moin, the offspring of Grave Monster, Greyback and Grave-haunting Worm, Weaver and Soother, I ween they must ever rend the twigs of the tree. Yggdrasil's ash suffers anguish more than mortals has ever known. On high-gnaw hearts it rots at the side, and fierce stinger rends it beneath. Then cries he from the fire torment, Would that Hrist and Mist would bear me a horn, my Valkyries, axe and spear point, bone and war fetter, battle and might, shrieker and spear fierce and strife, shield fierce, counsel fierce, strength maiden, all who bear ale and the chosen in war. Early woke, all fleet, hence must these horses warily draw up the sun. But under their withers the gods' precious powers and iron coolness have hid. There is one called Cooler who stands before the sun, a shield from that shining goddess. The mountains, I ween, and the stormy sea will flame if he fall from thence. Skoll is the wolf called who hunts the bright sun goddess, even to the sheltering grove. A second fares Moonhater, offspring of Fenrir, in front of that fair bride of heaven. From the flesh of Ymir the world was formed, from his blood the billows of the sea, the hills from his bones, the trees from his hair, the sphere of heaven from his skull. Out of his brows the blithe powers made Midgard for sons of men, and out of his brains were the angry clouds all shaped above in the sky. The kettle is taken off the fire in Gerad's hall. The favor of Ul, and of all the powers to him touching the first of fire. For gods can enter the homes of men when the kettle is raised from the hearth. The treasures of the world. Went the wielder's son of old to build Skidbladner the wooden bladed, best of all ships for the bright god Frey, ever bountiful son of Njord. Yggdrasil's ash, 'tis the best of trees, but Skidbladner of ships, Odin of gods, Sleipnir of steeds, Bifrost of bridges, Bragi of skalds, Habrok of hawks, and Garm of hounds. At this point, Grimnir reveals himself as Odin. Now my face have I shown to the war god's sons, therewith shall help awake, and the gods shall gather, all clad to the bench in Aegir's feasting hall. Dulled with ale alert thou, Gerod, too much hast thou drunk, of great treasure art thou deprived, bereft of my help, and of all chosen warriors, even the favor of Odin. Must have I told thee, but little thou mindest, by tricks thou hast been betrayed. Ere long shall I see thy sword, good friend, laying all bathed in blood. Thy days are run out, and the dread warfather owns him who is slain by the sword. The spirits are hostile. Hold now, 'tis Odin. More nigh shalt thou come if thou canst. He makes known his names. They have called me hoodwinker, called me wanderer, helm-bearer, lord of the host, welcomer, third highest, wave, and slender, high one, dazzler of hell. They have called me soothsayer, true and fickle, on-driver, eagle in war, flashing-eyed, flaming-eyed, bale-worker, ship-shifter, veiled one, masked one, while-wise and much-wise, broad-hat, long-beard, warfather, on-thruster, all-father, death-father, on-rider, freight-wafter. Ne'er was I called by one name alone, since I passed through the people of men. They called me Grimnir, the masked one, at Gerad's Jok, was I named at Osmond's. Killer once, when I drew the sledge, thrower in council, in strife the stormer, wash-giver, wind-roarer, tree-rocker, equal-ranked, grey-beard, and wizard of gods. They called me sage and wise when I duped the old Jotun who dwells neath the earth, and slew single-handed the glorious son of that monster who owned the mead. They call me now Odin, but erewhile the Dread One, Thund when I was called before that, Watcher and Shaker, Wafter and Counselor, Maker and Jok among the gods, Weaver and Soother, names which I deem come all from myself alone. King Gerod was sitting by with a half-drawn sword across his knees. When he knew that Odin was there, he rose up, desiring to remove the god from the fire. But as he did so, the sword slipped out of his hand, point upwards, while losing his feet. He fell forward onto it, and was pierced through and slain. Then Odin vanished, and Agnar was left to rule a long time as king. And that comes to the end of the first book of the Poetic Edda.